That's not the kind we're talking about, unfortunately. A cookie is a small text file that is saved on your computer by your browser. So the browser is running on your computer. It has access to your device. So that's really the software that is responsible for saving and sharing those cookies that are living on your device. And it is a text file. It's a very small file. We'll talk more about the contents later. But cookies are responsible for remembering things like your login information, your email, your phone number, your preferences, if you've entered that into a log site, like which language you speak, where your location is, et cetera. It can even remember items marked or placed in your shopping cart. So they are designed to be a good thing, to facilitate and simplify internet browsing. And in fact, using websites would be very difficult and much less satisfactory if we didn't have cookies. So in general, they're a good thing. And just to kind of talk about what they are and how they work, this is a very simple diagram. We're going to get to some more complex ones as we work our way through, but we're going to start with the simple and then layer some more information onto it. But you're sitting here on your laptop, and if you decide to go to a website, you'll type in www.yahoo.com, for example, and hit enter, and it sends that out over the internet, and it finds its way over here to Yahoo's server, which has the Yahoo software on it. So it sends over that request, but it also could be packing along a few cookies from the last time you were at Yahoo. So it brings those back, gives them back to Yahoo. Yahoo uses them to format your first page, and then it's going to send that page back to you. And it may also send the same or some different cookies back to your browser. And as you go from page to page, that cycle keeps happening. With each cycle, it may be sending updated information based on what you've typed into your browser and send you that information back to your laptop. But that's basically the mechanics of what happens. And again, your browser is the software that's storing it on your computer and pulling the cookies off that Yahoo needs and sending them to Yahoo. Questions about that basic process?
Wade, when you said it records our login information, does that include our password?
It could. Yes, it could.
Do they know what it is?
Yes, they would have that. They would have that username and password. So, in fact, there are lots of sites, especially ones where you have. Now, typically, they're not carrying that, but they can. Normally, if you're logging into a site and you create an account and you set up a username and a password, then that's not in a cookie. That's why you have to sign in again. But they can be passed. In fact, anything could be passed in the cookie. It's probably the best way to answer that. So there's really nothing that couldn't be passed in a cookie, as long as it's text.
Wait, what about your bank account online? Can your password be can they get that too?
Again, for something like that, it's probably not in the cookie because you're going to log in to their website. And so you're keying that into their website. So if you're having to key it in to log in, then it's not coming from a cookie. Now, if there's a site that you log into and you don't log in, have to enter your username and password, it may be coming from a cookie. It may be coming from a password manager. So typically it's not, but there's nothing passing that you haven't keyed into your computer. We're going to talk about that more later. But it's not pulling things off of your computer and secretly sending it over here. It's taking what you're typing in to the browser and sending that in and saving that information.
Oh, okay.
So it's not grabbing things off of your computer and sending it. And I think as we go through, that'll get a little clearer as we go through.
Wade, I have a question. Wade, you're such a good teacher that I feel like I can ask you a question that's going to feel really dumb, but I feel totally comfortable with asking you. When people say browser, are they talking about Google, Firefox? Is that a browser?
Yep, Edge. Yep, those are all browsers.
Okay.
So anything you would use to access a website and see the website, that's a browser. Yeah, those are the most popular ones. Chrome, Firefox, and Edge are probably the most popular ones. Yeah.
Thank you.
Rebecca, you're not by yourself. I had an idea. I thought it was, but I wasn't sure either. So that question and answer helped me too.
See, there are no bad questions. Thanks for clarifying that. Sometimes I make assumptions that I shouldn't, but yes, thanks for clarifying to make sure everyone understands what a browser is. All right, so
and
let's
Laverne, thanks for the solidarity. I'm glad we're in the same club.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thanks for your question.
Okay, so let's keep going because we're going to layer on more information, getting into, I think, some of the things you're asking in a little more detail. I'm going to talk about something called the General Data Protection Regulation, and don't get scared, I'm not going to go very deep into this. And it's abbreviated in the literature GDPR. And it's a relatively new mandate that's causing a lot of confusion, and it's causing changes in things that you're seeing on the internet that I do want to explain. And its roots come from the EU. And the intention is to protect EU citizens' rights to data privacy. And these EU e-privacy directives require that a user provide consent before cookies or trackers, and trackers are just another type of cookie. So for this class, cookies and trackers are the same thing, before they can be placed on a computer. Prior to this act, cookies were being put on computers without your knowledge. Now that can't be done. And even if an organization operates outside of the EU, like in the United States, it still has to comply with this GDPR regulation, or they can face hefty penalties. And let me show you what this is. So you've seen this, and you probably didn't used to see it. I'm not sure when this went into effect. It was maybe a year ago, maybe a little longer. But all of a sudden you started seeing this little pop-up when you go to a site you'd never been to before. And it would say, we use cookies, and it would have some explanation about why they're using cookies. But then you have to say, yes, I agree. You can put cookies on my computer, or no, I decline. You cannot put cookies on my computer. That's the source for that pop-up that we now see. That's complying with this GDPR. So that's why it's popping up. Sometimes now, this is even newer. Used to be, it was binary. You agreed or didn't agree, or declined. Now, in some cases, you can change your preferences, and you can say, well, I'll take certain types of cookies, but not